November 24th, 2018, a 26-year-old medical student named John Edward Jones enters Nutty Putty Cave in Utah with his brother. He's been here before. Thousands of people have been here before. The cave is a popular recreational site. Tight, but manageable if you know the routes. Jones is looking for a section called the Birth Canal. He takes a wrong turn. He enters a passage called Bob's Push, a crack in the rock roughly 10 inches wide at its narrowest point, angled downward at about 70 degrees. He slides in head first. He gets stuck, upside down, 150 feet underground. And then the rescue team arrives and realizes something. The only tool that could free him would require expanding the passage, and expanding the passage would collapse it. On both of them. Last time we talked about how your brain gets you killed. Normalcy bias, optimism bias, the freeze response. Today we're talking about places that will kill you even if your brain does everything right. Caves. Specifically the physics of how they do it. Because every cave on this list kills you in a different way, and most of them don't even need to try. Back to Nutty Putty. Jones is upside down in a fissure so narrow his arms are pinned. Blood is pooling in his head. His heart is working against gravity to push blood back to his body, and it's losing. Rescue teams arrive within hours. They attach a rope system to his legs and begin pulling. It works briefly. He moves about 12 inches. Then the pulley anchor fails. He slides back down. Deeper this time. The angle of the passage means that every failed attempt pushes him further into the narrowest section. His body is now a cork in a bottle that only goes one direction. The rescue effort lasted 27 hours. Over 100 people were involved. Engineers, paramedics, cavers, all working in passages so tight that rescuers had to crawl on their stomachs to reach him. At one point, a rescuer was close enough to hold Jones's hand. They could talk. Jones asked them to tell his wife and his baby that he loved them. He died from cardiac arrest caused by the sustained inverted position. His body was never recovered. The Utah authorities poured concrete into the entrance and sealed the cave permanently. He's still in there. That's what a 10-inch crack in a rock can do. No gas, no water, no collapse, just geometry. A passage that's wide enough to enter and too narrow to exit. The physics are simple. Your ribcage compresses when you exhale. On the inhale, it expands. If the rock around you is tight enough, each exhale lets you slip a fraction of a millimeter deeper. Each inhale pushes against rock that doesn't move. It's a ratchet. Your own breathing pulls you in. Now, Nutty Putty kills you with space. Specifically, the absence of it. The Cave of Crystals in Naka, Mexico, kills you with the opposite problem. Too much of everything. This cave sits about 1,000 feet below the surface inside an active mine, and it contains the largest natural crystals ever discovered. Selenite beams up to 12 meters long and 1 meter thick, crisscrossing a chamber roughly 30 meters long. It looks like the inside of a cathedral built by geology. It is also, without specialized equipment, lethal within about 10 minutes. The cave sits above a magma chamber. The air temperature inside is around 58 degrees Celsius. That's 136 Fahrenheit. The humidity is between 90 and 100%. Those two numbers together create a problem that most people don't intuitively understand. Your body cools itself by sweating. Sweat evaporates. Heat leaves with it. At 100% humidity, sweat doesn't evaporate. It just sits on your skin. Your body keeps producing it, keeps waiting for the cooling that isn't coming, and your core temperature starts climbing. At 58 degrees, with no evaporative cooling, your lungs begin to cook from the inside. The moisture in the air is hot enough to damage lung tissue with every breath. Researchers who entered the cave wore ice-packed suits and carried cooled breathing apparatus. Even with protection, exposure was limited to roughly 30 minutes. One researcher described the experience as breathing through a hot, wet cloth while standing inside an oven. The crystals took approximately 500,000 years to grow in those conditions. They are extraordinarily beautiful, and the environment that created them is as close to uninhabitable as anything on the surface of this planet. Different cave, different kill mechanism. Movile Cave in Romania was discovered in 1986 when workers testing the ground for a potential power plant site broke through to avoid. What they found was a cave system that had been completely sealed from the surface for approximately 5.5 million years. No sunlight, no surface air, no connection to the atmosphere. For context, 5.5 million years ago, the Mediterranean Sea dried up. That's how long this cave had been sitting there. The atmosphere inside Movile is roughly 1 to 2% oxygen. Surface air is 21%. Below about 16%, humans start experiencing impaired judgment. Below 10%, you lose consciousness. Below 6, you die. Movile sits comfortably in the you die range. The cave also contains high concentrations of hydrogen sulfide, the gas that smells like rotten eggs at low concentrations and kills your sense of smell at high concentrations, which means you stop smelling it right before it stops your breathing. But here's the part that made Movile famous. Despite the toxic atmosphere, the cave is alive. Researchers found 48 species inside, 33 of which exist nowhere else on Earth. Spiders, water scorpions, leeches, bacteria, an entire ecosystem running on chemosynthesis instead of photosynthesis. Life that has never seen the sun. Life that evolved in conditions that would kill a human in minutes. The cave isn't empty, it's full. It just doesn't want you in it. So far, geometry, heat, and atmosphere. The next cave adds water, and water in a cave is a different category of problem entirely. Plura Cave in northern Norway is an underwater cave system, partly air-filled, partly submerged. Cave diving is already the most dangerous form of recreational diving, with a fatality rate that makes open-water diving look like a bathtub. Plura adds cold water around 4 degrees Celsius and a specific structural feature that has killed experienced divers. In February 2014, a Finnish cave diver named Jari Huotarinen entered Plura Cave for a through dive, entering on one side and exiting on the other, passing through a submerged section roughly 130 meters long. He was experienced. He had the right equipment. He knew the cave. At approximately the halfway point of the submerged section, something went wrong. The details are debated. What isn't debated is that he didn't make it out of the water. His body was recovered days later by a retrieval team that itself had to navigate the same submerged passage to reach him. The physics of cave diving come down to one rule. You can't go up. In open water, if something fails, regulator, buoyancy, navigation, you ascend. The surface is always there. In a cave, the surface is rock. Your only exit is the way you came in, or the way you plan to go out. If something fails in the middle of a flooded tunnel, your options are to fix it while holding your breath in 4-degree water in total darkness, or to not fix it. There is no third option. There is no up. The type of cave death most people will never see coming isn't dramatic at all. No tight passages, no extreme heat, no flooded tunnels. It's gas. Carbon dioxide is denser than air. In caves with poor ventilation, CO2 can accumulate in low-lying areas, dips, pits, depressions in the floor. You walk into a pocket of it. You don't smell it. You don't feel it. You just start breathing faster, feeling dizzy, and if the concentration is high enough, you go down. It's happened in tourist caves. It's happened in caves that people have walked through hundreds of times. The gas settles into the same spot, and on the wrong day, under the wrong conditions. Temperature, barometric pressure, ventilation, the concentration is high enough. One moment you're walking. The next, the floor is much closer than you remember. The Grotta del Cane near Naples was famous for this in the 18th century. The cave contained a permanent CO2 layer close to the ground. Visitors would bring dogs to demonstrate the effect. The dog, being short, would inhale CO2 and collapse within seconds. The tourists, standing taller, breathed normal air and watched. It was a popular attraction. This is, somehow, not the worst thing humanity has done for entertainment, but it's in the conversation. 7 caves, 7 different ways to die. Geometry, heat, atmosphere, water, gas, collapse, disorientation. And the obvious question is, why does anyone go in? Every caver knows someone who's been hurt. Many know someone who died. The risks aren't hidden. The Nutty Putty story is the first result if you search for cave deaths. Every caver has read it. The answer, as far as anyone can explain it, has something to do with the fact that caves are one of the last genuinely unexplored environments on Earth. Not unexplored like quote 1, unexplored like quote 2. Satellite imagery has mapped every meter of the surface. The deep ocean has robots. Caves have nothing but the person standing in them. Every new passage is genuinely new. No one has been there before, and the price for that experience is a non-zero chance that the passage becomes your permanent address. Caves are terrifying, but at least they're underground. At least you have to choose to go in. Not everyone gets that choice. Some people were put in rooms they couldn't leave by people they were supposed to trust and used for things they were never told about. And the people who did it received funding, published papers, and retired with honors.